All right, everyone, welcome back into another NBA DFS video. Got a 5-game slate here on this Tuesday evening. Well, it's morning right now, but it will be the Tuesday evening slate. Just a reminder, if you guys enjoy the coverage, make sure to give a like and subscribe. Gonna be getting into the injury news to start off with, as always, but we don't have that much injury news to really touch on this slate, thankfully. It's not gonna be yesterday's video where it's a bunch of if-then statements. And man, I think that's the second time this season where Dort was looking like he'd be a stellar play, and then out of nowhere, Shai's like, I'm going to play. And then pretty much rooting him as a play. Just interesting stuff there. Obviously, this is NBA DFS. Once again, just a reminder, be in the Discord chat before lock because stuff changes throughout the day, which then changes pretty much the whole dynamic of the slate. And obviously that could happen today as well. Really, the biggest slate impacting injury news that we have is going to be looking at the Golden State Warriors right now. Okay, Curry's out, obviously. Andrew Wiggins is out. Klay Thompson currently probable, and then Jordan Poole obviously would be a strong price point play as well. Can we project him to get 50 plus DK points? No. With Curry and with Andrew Wiggins off the court, he averages right around 40 fantasy points per 36. So it should be a strong safe play. Then looking at what other injury news campaign, actually a lot of the Phoenix players we have to watch for. Okay, that's going to be the biggest injury news situation because they are coming in off of a back end of a back-to-back, or coming in off of the front end of a back-to-back, going into the back end of a back-to-back. So Booker's out, but he could potentially play. This is still listed from obviously yesterday's slate, but Cam Johnson, he's going to sit campaign. He's going to be out. Josh Okogie, he's going to be out most likely. Landale going to be out. Crowder's still out. So that's going to leave a lot of value. Like Torrey Craig got a ton of minutes last game. And if he is someone that's going to be getting a ton of minutes, he'd be highly appealing. Then we look at other players like Lee. Going to be popping up as well. He's someone that stepped into a lot of minutes as price point, would be a strong price point play. Shamit as well. Like all the kind of Phoenix players would be good enough plays. Like they're not too cheap to the point where like you need to lock and load them like it was looking like the Thunder would be because they're all like $1,000 too cheap. I would say the Suns are just slightly undervalued, like $200 there, $300 there. And obviously we'll take a look at the FanDuel report to see that. The biggest takeaway would be CP3 would once again have a very high floor if Booker is out. Okay, even if Booker plays, he still should be a good play because while they're still without campaign, and then he's just going to control a lot of usage. So I think CP3, as it sits right now this morning, is going to be a player we're going out of our way to play. And that's really it for the biggest slate impacting news in terms of players sitting. Like Jokic is probable, Jimmy Butler's probable. So like not too much there. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the value report. And just pulling it up, guys, Jokic is looking like the standout play, especially on DraftKings, just according to the OF index. And then we got John Morant and then Devin Booker. Yes, the OF index and OF model is expecting Devin Booker to play. Okay, still Chris Paul should be a decent play regardless. Okay, so we got that. Let's go ahead and look at the FanDuel value. Torrey Craig, yeah, pretty cheap there on FanDuel. I think if you're playing on FanDuel, you're playing Torrey Craig. I will say Mike Conley does feel a little bit too cheap. Prior to his injury, he was someone that was consistently putting right up around 25 to 30 fantasy points per game. So someone you could certainly look at. Caleb Martin, pretty cheap on FanDuel. And then basically everyone else is going to be closely priced to their price on DraftKings. So let's go ahead and look at the DraftKings value. Yeah, Mike Conley popping up there. Caruso popping up there. Caruso's just playing a lot of minutes. I would say probably my favorite value on the slate would be Mitchell Robinson, and I'll pull him up here for you guys. So Mitchell Robinson, been playing a little bit more minutes, in the last 3 games. You can never really trust the Knicks, but I do like the consistent production that he's had. And if he can just make a few more buckets, like it wouldn't be shocking to see him get a double-double. And obviously, if he gets a double-double, we're more looking at the upside game. He is much more of a ceiling play, but you also, if he gets 30 minutes, he should be a safe play as well. That's the biggest question mark. And let's see how many minutes he's projected to get. 28, so right around there. Do want to call out as well, I guess Jamal Murray is currently questionable. If he sits, we kind of know what to do there. It'd be firing up Bones Highland, and then it'd be firing up Bruce Brown as well. We've seen that a bunch this season already. We know what to do there. So let's go ahead and get into the ownership. So Jalen Brunson going to be gaining a lot of ownership, and he is someone that I do like. So let's just pull him up here. So looking at Jalen Brunson at 7.2, it is a cheap price point for a guy that for 3 straight games, went for 40 DK points, and now he gets a good matchup against the Golden State Warriors. That's going to be highly appealing to me. I do like him as a play. I think he's going to be someone that is going to be tough to pass up on. It does make a lot of sense to me to start with CP3 and Jalen Brunson. And then from there, Klay Thompson as well. We'll be playing Klay Thompson. Jaden Ivey, just a cheap price point. I think people are earning up on. Mike Conley seeming like a good value today. People like the safety of playing the Bulls players, and I agree with that. like on a 5-game slate, if you want to chase safety, I'm fine with that in terms of making a strong like cash build. So that does make sense. Julius Randle feels a little bit too priced up, but you got Jokic, who's probably a little bit too cheap. Let's see here, Vood. The ownership is pretty spread out. Like I said, we don't have any like standout clear cut plays or value plays. So let's go ahead and look in FanDuel. I want to see Torrey Craig's price point. Okay, Dante DiVincenzo. What? That's a little strange, I would say. So this would say that I believe Clay would be sitting. Like the only way Dante gets this much ownership, I would say, or should get this much ownership, is if Clay's out. Now, can he get to 30 fantasy points? Sure, but that seems a little bit too high. Mike Conley, I agree with. I'm fine with that. Once again, the Bulls popping up there. Bruce Brown, fine with him, but like there's just the ownership's pretty spread out, except for the strangeness with Dante and Mike Conley. Once again, it's pretty early in the day. The lineups that people are producing in the morning could be skewing that. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get into the lineup process. All right, so for me, I do want to play Klay Thompson. I think Klay Thompson is going to be a strong price point play. Makes a lot of sense as a shooting guard play as well. I think we're going to be locking in 30 to 40 fantasy points. Obviously, the appeal with Klay Thompson is going to be the fact that Wiggins and Curry are out. And we saw the last game with them out 30. That's just what we're expecting there from him. And then I also, like I said, I do like Mitchell Robinson. I think he makes a lot of sense at the center position. So there we go. Let's go ahead and look at some other, decent guard plays. I don't know if we can play Tyler Hero with Jimmy Butler expected back. Jordan Poole is someone I am going on my way to play. So we are loading up on guards. 4 guards already in the build. That's kind of just a line of process. I do think we are going to be locking him. Let's just say 37 to 50 DK points. That's kind of what I'm expecting, especially going against New York. It's kind of a matchup, kind of game stacking that game. And let's go ahead and look at the odds. Is that a game that we should be attacking? Not particularly, no. It's just easier to fit those plays in there. Actually, that'd be the one you would want to stay away from. But it is a close spread. So that's good. Probably the game that you want to stack the most would be Memphis-Denver, but obviously that's going to be much more difficult to make that work. And then you could probably go with Utah-Detroit if you're trying to game stack. I do find it weird that Dante's getting that much ownership. Like, he has been a very strong, productive player, and it could be a matchup-based thing. The minutes have been there. Shot attempts weren't there the last game, but, did have some assists. Probably should get a little bit more rebounds. Just had a bad game. 4 personal fouls, 3 turnovers. Like, that's not good. And then, yes, as it sits right now, I am just going to kind of put in, I think, Shamet and Lee in there for the Phoenix Suns. I like the fact that we can play him at both guard and forward, although probably going to be playing them at the forward position today. So going to go ahead and put both of them in there real quick. They should be strong price point plays, especially, if the injury news holds up. Then one other one, just to call him out, Patrick Williams, still playing a ton of minutes, guys. Still like a strong floor play for you. The price point is starting to get up there to the point where we have to think about it, like maybe 5X, but we should be locking in, obviously 16 plus points, upside to get you maybe 25, nothing too crazy there. And for this particular build, I'm perfectly happy going with Craig if that injury news holds up like that. This would be a strong kind of build. You're getting your ownership to the Phoenix Suns, who are all slightly underpriced, So not a terrible build, not something I'm particularly excited about, but not something I'm like, ooh, this is bad. This is going to be a bad slate. DeMar DeRozan, once again, kind of just a safe play. If you want a safe play, you could just kind of play the Chicago Bulls because they are priced, I would say, slightly too low. And you could probably game stack that game if you really wanted to. Centers, I don't mind the idea of playing Ayton. If the game's close, should get 30 minutes and could easily produce 40 fantasy points, especially with how banged up they are. He'd be someone I wouldn't mind as a play. Kelly Olynyk was ruled out last night's game. And because of that, it was Walker Kessler who got the start. But he's priced up a little bit too much. The matchup with Detroit would be good if he got the start again. Can he get 30 minutes? Maybe. Could he break this slate? Maybe. I would say he's worth it in about 10% of GPPs, but not someone I'd be, too excited with. I would say for the most part, this slate is properly priced. I would do expect Lauri Markkanen to have more of a ceiling game as well. Probably closer to 40 fantasy points and a much better matchup. All right, but that's all I have for you guys for this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give a like and subscribe. If you guys want access to the tools that you saw in this video, make sure to click the links in the description below, as well as we got a link in the description below for the Discord chat. That's going to be live before lock. Make sure to get in there as well. Any slate impacting injury news that comes out throughout the day, we'll be touching on that in there, as well as answering all you guys' questions. So make sure to be in there. All right, thanks for watching, guys. Let's have a good slate and good luck.